Nebuchadnezzar and Cyrus the Great are being tested right now by the players that are participating in the Ark of Osiris League Grand Finals, and we've been given explicit permission by John Wick to use this footage in a video to share with you exactly how they perform. So stick around, my friends, to watch Cyrus the Great and Nebuchadnezzar in action. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, a sponsored content creator for Rise of Kingdoms, and today we are going to be showcasing the footage put together by John Wick of Nebuchadnezzar and also Cyrus the Great duking it out in Rise of Kingdoms. If you like Rise of Kingdoms guides that help you get value and smash your enemies, consider smashing that subscribe button for daily Rise of Kingdoms videos and news as soon as it breaks. Yeah, we spend a lot of time playing Rise of Kingdoms, my friends, so we keep a pulse on what is happening, and when John Wick started to share some of this footage, we wanted to bring it to you. Again, huge thank you to him for giving us permission to share this with you. So what you're looking at now is a duel between Nebuchadnezzar on the left and Cyrus the Great on the right. You cannot use equipment in the Ark of Osiris League Grand Finals, so there isn't any equipment involved in this. Every commander's level 60 maxed out. Yeah, the Grand Finals are kind of nutty. The participants literally have access to every commander that's in the game fully maxed out, which is why they have access to these commanders before they've even landed in the Wheel of Fortune or the Mightiest Governor cycle. Lucky them, and honestly lucky for everyone, because we can see how they actually perform in rally situations before they've actually landed, and hopefully we'll get some rally footage from them as well. Wink, you know what I mean? Would love to see that. Would love to share that. So here will be the first report we get to look at. On the left side, we've got Nebuchadnezzar primary with Cyrus the Great secondary, and Cyrus with Ramses was the winning combination on the right with about 5,000 Sev wounds differential. Now we're going to be watching on the left-hand side of the screen, Cyrus the Great, and on the right-hand side of the screen, an Artemisia primary. So the secondary for Cyrus on the left-hand side in blue is Ramses. For Artemisia, we've also got Cyrus the Great as the secondary. In general, I would expect Ramses to perform very, very well in this style of testing, in part because he's got a lot of skills that are relevant for this situation, but also because the healing is just so good. It's just so good for a sustained fight, and like, guess what? This is sort of a sustained situation where healing goes really, really well, unless I suppose the opposing side has a way to deal with your healing. In my perfect world, I might even have the time to edit together a bracket, see all the different pairings they test and which ones win. However, we win by a solid 7,000 or so on the left-hand side with the Ramses secondary to Cyrus. Next battle, we've got Cyrus primary on the left, Cyrus primary on the right, and we've got Ramses as the secondary in blue and Esong as the secondary in red. I would expect our Ramses to be the winning pair here with Cyrus the Great. Again, for all the same reasons I was describing earlier. With that said, if I were taking these commanders to an open field brawl in the Ark of Osiris, I still feel like I would bring the Esong because, yeah, area of effect damage is really good when you hit 5 marches, right? Like when you think about your overall effectiveness, this is not a reflection of how it will go in a battle at the center. So we can see here the differential is about 4,000 Sevs in favor of the Ramses pair. Now we've got Cyrus again, I believe, with a Ramses, and on the right-hand side, we've got Edward paired with Cyrus the Great. This, I think, is going to be really interesting because Cyrus generates rage. Edward wants rage to use the active skill more frequently. That active skill does do a lot of damage. These are fully expertise commanders, as a reminder. So they should perform really, really well. I don't, however, think that the Edward Cyrus looks like it's doing all that great, and it's not something I would bring to the center, in part because of area of effect damage. I also wouldn't bring it to swarm down, an altar either. So I think this is a pair that you can set aside and not have to think about. Looks like the differential there was about 6,000 Sevs in favor of the Ramses pairing. Now we're going to see a Nebuchadnezzar on the left-hand side with a Cyrus the Great Nebuchadnezzar on the right-hand side. So they're basically running the exact same thing. And by the way, we don't have access to the builds, but allow me to point out for a moment, look at that area of effect of the Nebuchadnezzar. Look at the area of effect of that Nebuchadnezzar. That is so good. That is so amazing. That is an Ethelflaed-sized area of effect. Nebuchadnezzar is going to be a slam dunk inclusion for brawls in the middle. Could be that you just bring Nebuchadnezzar Esong, and I know they're squishy, but like, glass cannons have a role too, potentially. Or maybe you split them and bring 2 archer marches. I'm not entirely sure, but what I know is that I'm loving what I'm seeing with that area of effect. Huge. That is going to play a huge role, I think, in the open field and for brawls for the Ark. Differential in wounds here is about 1,000. Actually, really very, very close, which, you know, this honestly could just be randomness that determined which side was the victor there. Both of them, I believe, have abilities that have a random chance to activate. So now we've got 2 Nebuchadnezzar primaries that we're looking at. On the left-hand side, I believe that is, yes, Nebuchadnezzar Esong. On the right-hand side, Nebuchadnezzar with Artemisia. Okay, very interesting. I would not expect the Artemisia to do particularly well. She really needs to hit multiple targets here, but I like that they're testing it. We can see that is working out that way. Okay, very interesting. Very interesting. So far, it does seem like Cyrus the Great with Ramses is kind of the winning single target pair. And that, by the way, might be a really great combo to go and rally Zenobia with. Very tempting to want to rally Zenobia Theodora with that pairing. We do see about a 4,000 differential in Sevs in that matchup. Now we've got Nebuchadnezzar on the left, paired with Esong again against that winning pair so far, the Cyrus the Great with Ramses. I expect the Cyrus the Great with Ramses is going to win, and I would anticipate that that march on the left, the Nebuchadnezzar Esong, would do so well in a brawl in the middle. They might be really squishy. You might have to split them up and put them behind some tankier commanders, but both of those commanders I want to bring to the middle. They're so good for area of effect damage. Honestly, I'm very much now looking forward to really both of these new archers. We do see that Ramses was the victor by about 3,000 Sev wounds. Let me take you now to the Ark of Osiris League Grand Finals page, where we can get a look at the events and also see how it is that they're able to do this testing. Although the Ark of Osiris League Grand Finals page has had a little red indicator that there's an event active, now when we go and we look at the events for the finals, we can see there is a way to accrue Oryx, and you can use those Oryx to go and place on either V636 or OV to get more Oryx back and try to get some sweet prizes. The prize pool includes some legendary material choice chests, which of course are very much coveted, crystal keys, and a Throne of Power cosmetic, which, hey, this is pretty hard to obtain. The more weeks that this thing takes for the event to be decided, the more loot that we can potentially get for free from just getting all these Oryx. So hopefully we have a really good show between these teams, and it takes all 3 rounds. It's a best 2 out of 3 to determine who is the victor. The first round is going to take place on the 13th, lucky for both teams, I'm sure, at 15 UTC. And if we aren't casting that on the official channel, you better believe that we'll then be casting it here on our own channel, and you are not going to want to miss that. The main difference between the rules for the Grand Finals and the rest of Ark of Osiris League is that these players that have made it to this point have access to literally every single commander at level 60. No equipment. Nobody can use any equipment in the Ark of Osiris League Grand Finals. However, they can apply whatever talents they want, and I am honestly really looking forward to how these 2 teams, which, by the way, Vietnam Victory was the winner from the Realm of Anubis, OV was the winner for the Realm of Horus, how these very exceptional teams will go and try to use all of these commanders that are available to them, including, by the way, a commander like Nebu. Really eager to see how they deploy that commander, which I would assume is going to be to the center for the Ark of Osiris. I would assume is going to be swarming garrisons. Honestly, this is going to be a very, very exciting Grand Finals, and I do hope that we'll get 3 matches to show you. If you enjoyed this video, you should definitely consider subscribing to the channel and throwing a like on this video. And also, I strongly recommend you check out the card up in the top for John Wick's channel. Again, a huge thank you to him and OV for allowing us to get a look at this footage and these commanders. We appreciate their generosity. And thank you again for giving me explicit permission to use this footage. I very much appreciate that and hope that we'll have some more footage coming soon, perhaps of some rallies. Know what I mean? Know what I mean? We'd love to see some rallies, in particular, things that you know that both sides are going to be testing, so you don't have to worry about whether or not one side knows, like, yeah, of course they're going to test a Cyrus the Great rally against Zenobia. So let us see how that goes. We'd love to see it. Have I mentioned? Please let us see that footage if we could. Anyways, thank you very much again. And until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom.